What's up, guys? This is Manoj Bhuptani. I welcome you all on behalf of the Edupedia world. So, guys, this is our 11th presentation for the topic bond valuation. All the topics which are being included in this chapter have already been covered in our last presentations. Till now, we have already completed the chapter 1, SFM, as well as bond valuation relating topics. The following were the topics. Just to reiterate you, I'll just brief you about the list of topics which we have covered in our last presentations. Those were bonds, types of bonds, difference between a bond and a debenture, valuation of a debt security, relationship between a coupon rate, price of the bond and yield, premium and discount in bond pricing, nominal yield, current yield and yield to maturity, zero coupon bonds, deep discount bonds, perpetuity bond, callable bonds, convertible bonds, reissue bonds, Malkiel's theorems, floating rate bonds, risks which are associated with investment in bonds, risks which are affected by the government policies, duration of the bond, duration of a bond portfolio, factors that affect duration, application and duration, measuring the interest rate risk, modified duration, limitations of duration, bond convexity, the expectation hypothesis, yield curve and its types, immunization, bullet immunization, and the kind of disadvantages which are being included while going for the processes of immunization. So, guys, during our last 10 presentations relating to the chapter bond valuation, all these topics have been covered on a holistic level. In order to reiterate or revise, you need to go back to all those video presentations so that you can revise on again and again and again. I wanted to reiterate you guys for your promise that while studying SFM, the key to succeed was just two things. One was the conceptual clarity and the second one was regular revisions. And I believe that you guys are putting your 100% on all those revisions which are meant to be made on a regular and frequent basis. So guys, please don't lose upon on this part. It is essential and imperative for your success in CA final examination. This video presentation has been specifically made about examination questions, what kind of practical questions are being observed in past examinations of CA final. So we'll be starting out this video with our first problem. We'll be actually covering an enormous amount of questions which have already been asked. And the first question would be, calculate the market price of a 10% Government of India security which is currently quoted at an INR 110, but the interest rate is expected to go up by 1%. So what will be the market price of this security if in case first its coupon is 10%, it is currently quoted in the market at rupees 110. However, the interest rate is expected to go up by 1%. So what is the implication it will be having on the current market price if it goes up by 1%? So the price of a perpetual bond, since we have not been provided in this question regarding the maturity date, so we'll be assuming this to be a perpetual bond. The price of a perpetual bond can be simply calculated by coupon dividing by the K, that is the yield. So basically, therefore, the current yield would be, in that case, 10, that is my coupon rate, divided by my current market price, and that is 110. I'll be getting the yield, and that will be 9.09%. So if in case the yield goes up by 1%, then the new yield will be 10.09%. In such a case, the market price would be coupon divided by new yield, and that would be 10 divided by 0.1009, and we'll be getting the INR 99.10. In order to provide you again about the conceptual clarity, just ensure one thing: as and when the interest rate rises, your bond price falls. So if in case it's been likely to go up by 1%, Definitely, in such circumstances, the bond price from 110 is likely to fall down. So, in case during examination you tend to fall out on this aspect, like whether the answer is correct or not, just ensure your conceptual clarity. In any case, whether the bond is going to rise or fall, you just need to understand one concept regarding the same. If in case the yield rises, the bond prices fall, and if in case the yield decreases and declines, the bond prices rises. So guys, that was a question which was asked in CA final examination of November 2010. Now let's move on to our next question. The same question has already been asked in November 2010 as well. And this question was, it was a part of the same question. I have already divided the two questions just to ensure that you get the complete conceptual clarity regarding both the questions on a different note. So calculate the market price of a bond with 7.5% coupon interest. Its future value is INR 10,000 rupees and the maturity is 2 years. Presently, it is yielding an interest of 6%. The interest is payable half yearly. So guys, the coupon rate involved in this question is 7.5%. We have our face value, that is 10,000 rupees. We have our maturity which has been provided to us, that is 2 years, and the discounting factor, which is the yield, is 6%, and the interest is payable half yearly. We just need to compute this just by keeping in mind one simple thing, that in order to compute that market price, all we need to do is we'll have to divide the coupon rate half yearly accordingly. So we'll be having a coupon interest of 7.5% divided by 2. We'll be having its maturity period 2 into 2 because that is half yearly, and there will be 4 periods which will be involved rather than 2, and the yield will be divided by 6 divided by 2. So in order to take care of half yearly payable amounts, we just need to ensure these things. We'll have to divide the coupon interest by 2, we'll have to divide the yield by 2, and we'll have to multiply the maturity by 2. So we'll be able to get the current bond price of a semi-annual bond, and that will be coupon divided by 2 into present value interest rate factor annuity whole bracket K, that is yield divided by 2, comma 2 into 2 in that case, which I have already told to you, plus the face value which we'll be getting at the time of maturity into present value interest rate factor of that time, that is the 4th period. So we'll get the answer as 750 divided by 2. How did we compute 750? It was as simple, 10,000 multiplied by 7.5%. It came 750 rupees. 750 divided by 2 into the present value interest rate factor 6 divided by 2, comma 2 into 2 plus 10,000, which was the face value which we'll be getting at the time of 4th period completion, and that would amount to 375 into 3.717 plus 10,000 into 0.888, and we'll be getting the answer about the current market price, and that would be INR 10274. So guys, that was the question which was being asked in CA final November 2010. Same principle goes with this question as well. You can see that the coupon interest rate is 7.5%, which is higher than the yield. In such a case, we'll be getting a market price which will be higher than the face value, and the same thing has happened with this question as well. Face value was 10,000 rupees and we got the current bond price as 10274. So now let's jump on to our next question. This question was being asked in CA final November 2009. And the question was, an investor is considering the purchase of a bond. Face value of the bond was rupees 100. Coupon rate is 11%. Maturity is 3 years. If he wants a yield of 13%, what is the maximum price he should be ready to pay for? This was the first question, and the second one was, if the bond is selling for rupees 97.60, what will be his yield? In such a case, in the first present case, the bond price would be, we'll have the coupon rate of 11%, present value interest rate factor taking care of the yield that is 13% and the time period which is 3 years, plus we'll be taking care of the face value which we'll be getting in the last time of the maturity, that is 100 into present value factor of 3 years to 13% yield, and the INR would be 95.27. So same principle as again reflected in this question as well, that the coupon rate was 11%. Here we are taking up the interest coupon from the company as 11%. However, our expectation, our yield, our discounting rate factor, whatever you can say, available in the market is 13%. Our expectation is high. So in such a case, we'll be having that bond at a lower price than face value, because our expectation is high, but the company is just able to pay us 11% rather than 13%. In such a case, bond prices are likely to fall. So that is why it tends to amount to 95.27. In the second one, if the bond is selling at 97.60, what will be his yield? So in order to extract a compute yield, we have used the formula approximation rather than IRR. So that would be coupon plus bond value at the last time of maturity minus bond value currently divided by number of periods whole divided by average investment. How to compute the average investment? It's simple. Bond price at the starting divided by 2, and we get the answer. 11 plus 100 minus 97.60. 100 was the initial investment, and that would be like minus the investment which we'll be getting at the end, divided by 3 whole divided by 100 plus 97.60 divided by 2, and that will amount to 11.94. So guys, most likely the kind of questions which are being asked in CA final examination are conceptually based. If in case you have already taken care of your conceptual clarity, the examination will take care of itself very well. So you just need to have that kind of conceptual clarity so that you can easily complete your examination on time with accurate and systematic presentations. Now let's jump on to another question of ours. This question has already been asked in CA final examination November 2003, and it was Messrs. Agfa Industries is planning to issue a debenture series on the following terms: years 1 to 4 9%, 5 to 8 10%, 9 to 10 years 14%. So slowly and gradually they are increasing the coupon rates which are paying regularly. So in the first 4 years they'll be paying 9% coupon rate. In the next 4 years they'll be paying 10% coupon rate. In the last 2 years they'll be paying 14% coupon rate. So the current market price on similar debentures is 15% per annum. So the company proposes a price issue in such a manner that it can yield 16% compounded rate of return to investors. The company proposes to redeem the debentures at 5% on maturity. So we have been asked to determine the issue price on debentures. So guys, coupon rate is changing day in day out. The current market interest rate on similar debentures available in the market is 15%. The company is proposing the price to issue in such a manner that it can yield 16% compounded rate of return to investors, and finally it is planning to redeem the debentures on 5% on maturity. So how to compute the issue price on such debentures? It's simple. So guys, we can see that year 1 the company was able to pay out a cash outflow of 9. For the 4 consecutive years, the interest rate, coupon rate basically was 9%. And for the next 4 years, it amounts to 10. And the last 2, it has been 14. So we'll be finding out and extracting and computing present value interest rate factor at the rate 16% compounding annually. We got the figures 8.862, 743, 641, 552, 476 and so on that way. So accordingly, we are supposed to find out the present value of each cash flow. So in the last 4th column, we have extracted all those values: 7.758, 6.667, 687, 5.767, 4.968, 4.76, 4.10 and so on. So the basic catch in this question is at the end. So at the end of the time, and 10th year, we'll be extracting out a face value of 100 rupees plus a premium which the company has agreed to propose, and that is rupees 5. So in the last year, we'll be taking up the cash flows 14 rupees, that is our coupon, plus our maturity amount, that is 105. That total amounts to 119. Present value interest rate factor at 16% for the 10th year is 0.227. So the total amount of this bond value, its present value would be 71.327. Alternatively, what we could have done, had it been we are short of time during examination, and certainly we are not able to prepare such large table, we can have an alternate answer to that. So that would be issue price equivalents to 9 into present value interest rate factor annuity for first 4 years, that will be 2.798, for the next 1.546 for the next 4 years, into 10% coupon rate plus 14% coupon rate for the last 2 years, that will be 0.263, plus there will be a maturity amount at the last time, that will be 119. That includes the coupon payment for 10th year plus the maturity amount of 105. That will be multiplied by the present value interest rate factor for that year, and that would be 0.227. So accordingly, we got an approximate figure, that is 71.33. So that's how we'll be able to solve this kind of questions during examination. Do keep your calculators handy, because such kind of calculations do require you to practice hard on how to use frequently, and how to use your calculators with efficiency, so that you can save your time during examination. So that, guys, those were the kind of questions which are being asked in our previous attempts. Let's move on to next question, and that would be, this question was basically asked in CA Final November 2008. The following is the yield structure of AAA rated debenture. We have already discussed in our last presentations about credit rating as well. There are many companies which are available in the market like CARE, CRISIL, ICRA, Fitch, Brickworks, who provide the credit rating to the kind of company whenever a company is planning to start or issue their bond in the market. So they are the companies who provide the kind of rating on the basis of the credit worthiness of the company, that whether the company will be able to provide the interest on time, whether the company will be able to pay off the principal on time or not. So there is an imperative conditions which are being involved in these kind of credit rating agencies as well, and they are doing their wonderful jobs while doing such work. So in this question, there is a credit yield structure of a AAA rated debenture. The period for 3 months yield is 8.5, 6 months it's 9.25, 1 year it is 10.5, second 2 years it is 11.25, and 3 years and above it would be 12%. Now let's jump on to the final question. Based on the expectation theory, calculate the implicit 1 year forward rate in the year 2 and 3. If the interest rates increases by 50 basis points, what will be the percentage change in the price of the bond having a maturity of 5 years? So let's firstly find out the implicit 1 year forward rates in the year 2 and 3. So the solution would be, year 1 the yield is 10.5%, year 2 it is 11.25, year 3 it is 12%. We get that the forward rate for second year would be 1.1125 to the power 2 divided by year 1's rate, that is 10.5, 1.105 minus 1. So we'll be getting the forward rate for second year as 12%. This question has already been asked in CA final examination, and this has already been covered in our past presentations as well. I did quote it in complete example holistically during that moment. So if we'll be finding out the forward rate for third year, we'll have to 1.12 to the power 3 divided by 1.1125 to the power 2 minus 1, that will come out 13.5%. So guys, it's as simple as that. In order to, while increasing the number of years and computing the forward rate for second year, we'll have to take the numerator to the power 2. While computing the forward rate for 3 years, we'll have to take the numerator to the power 3 and denominator to the power 2, that way. So here it's a present simple case for that matter, and that is how we are going to extract the figures for forward rate second year and forward rate third year. That will come 12% and 13.5%. So the next part was, what will be the new price if the yield changes from 12.5% to 12%. So we did discuss about the 50% change, 50 basis points change. So earlier the yield was 12%, and what if the yield turns out to 12.5%? What will be the new price? Guys, I've already told you about the conceptual clarity regarding the same thing. If in case the yield increases, the bond price decreases. So earlier the bond used to trade out at face value of 1000 rupees. So without going through any kind of answer, you can simply estimate that in such a case the bond prices are likely to fall, and the same has happened in this question as well. Kindly remember guys, it's purely based upon concepts. So we are having the coupon rate of 120 into present value interest rate factor annuity for a yield of 12.5% for a period of 5 years, plus the maturity period amount, that is 1000 into present value interest rate factor of 5th year for a yield of 12.5%. We got the value 982.19. So guys, that was the question which was being asked in earlier CA final examination. So let's move on to our next question. Okay, fall in prices have already been asked. So fall in the price is from 1000 to 982. So the total fall is 17.81. So what is the percentage change that has happened to the price? And that is 17.81 divided by 1000 into 100, and that is 1.78. So guys, that was the question complete. Hence it's time to move forward to another question. I'm not wasting any more time for extensively explaining you how these things have already been covered, because all these things have already been covered in our last presentations. It is just the kind of crux which we are delivering you, just to ensure that you are able to go through the kind of questions which are being asked in CA final examination, so that you get that kind of confidence and conceptual clarity along with them. So now let's move on to our next question, and that will be CA final November 2011. So the question was, based on a credit rating of bonds, Mr. Alok has decided to apply for the following discount rates for valuing bonds. The credit rating are 3: AAA, AA and A. So what is the discount rate on which the bonds are likely to provide the coupon rate? So that will be 364-day T-bill rate. T-bill is basically treasury bill rate. Treasury bills are issued by government institutions, and they are already having a 3% spread on that as well. The discount rate for AA credit rating instrument would be AAA's discount rate plus 2% spread, and in case of a credit rating instrument for A rating, that will be the discount rate for AAA credit rating plus a 3% spread. He is considering to invest in a AA rated bond. So the rupees 1000 face value bond, the bond is currently selling at an INR of 1025. So guys, it is already higher. It is already selling at a premium. So that is rupees 1025.86. The bond has 5 years to maturity, and the coupon rate of the bond is 15% per annum, payable annually. The next interest payment is due 1 from today, and the bond is redeemable at par. Assume that the 364-day T-bill rate has to be 9%. So guys, since he is interested in investing a AA rated bond, so we'll be having the discount rate computation first, and that would be 364-day T-bill rate, that is 9%, plus 3% spread on AAA rating bond, that will amount to complete 12%, plus the 2% spread which is available in AAA rating, plus 2% for AA credit rating. So that would amount to finally 9 plus 3 plus 2, and that would amount to 14% actually. So in such a case, we are actually required to calculate the intrinsic value. That is the second part for that man. Intrinsic value of a bond for Mr. Alok. Should he invest in that bond or not? Calculate the current yield and yield to maturity of that bond. So let's solve this problem first. The appropriate discount rate for valuing the bond for Mr. Alok is that I just discussed out with you guys, 9 plus 3 plus 2, because he has shown his interest in investing AA rated bond. So that will be AAA rated 364 days T-bill rate plus 3% spread, and in case he is willing to invest in AA rated bond, that will also include a 2% spread. So 3 plus 9 plus 2, that would amount to 14%. Now, the time value, the cash flows, the present value interest rate factor at the annuity of 14% yield, and the present value of cash flow has already been extracted for you guys for your convenience. Time 1, time 2, time 3, time 4, time 5. The cash flow for the first year is 150, then also 150 rupees, then 150, then 150. At the end of the 5th year, you will be able to receive a coupon rate of 150 rupees plus a maturity value, that is 1000 rupees. Present value interest rate factor for at the yield of 14% has already been extracted, and that is 0.877, 0.769, 0.675, 0.592, and 0.519. So we can compute the present value of that bond, and currently the fair value of that bond is 1033.80. And guys, you just have to remember that it is currently available in the market for 10325. So we can simply say that the fair value is more than the current market price which is available in the market. So we can simply say that the bond is still undervalued. So the recommendation would be to buy this bond as soon as possible. By the time it hits the kind of like mid factor, in order to adjust the inefficiencies, it's better to buy that bond because currently it is undervalued. Since PO current market value is less than the intrinsic value, market price, then in such a case, Mr. Alok is supposed to buy that bond, and he should, because the bond is undervalued. The current yield. So the next part was computation of current yield. It can be simply done by annual interest divided by the price. The coupon which we get regularly is 150 rupees. The current market price is 1025. So what is the current yield? And that would be 14.62%. Now we'll have to extract the yield to maturity of the bond using IRR. So computation at the percentage of 15, we got that the bond value reduces from 1025 to 999.80. And in such a case, if we are extracting the same YTM at 14%, we get the fair value of bond at 1033.80. So by interpolation, we can adjust and get the YTM as 14.23%. So guys, that was the question which was again asked in a CA final examination in November 2011. So like most of the questions which are being asked in this question are not too difficult to score and attempt in examination. All you need to have that kind of conceptual clarity just to ensure that you present your paper very well in the examination, and you don't give any chance to the paper checker to deduct any kind of marks from your examination paper. So that will be simply taken care of by having the good kind of conceptual clarity and ease of going with the flow of the question, examination pattern and paper. So now let's move on to our next question. And this question has been asked in CA final examination for May 2010. So consider the following data for government securities. Face value 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. Interest rate at the first year 0, 10.5, 11, 11.5. Maturity 1, 2, 3, 4. Current price 91,000, 99,000, 99,500 and 99,900. So guys, in this question we are supposed to find out the forward interest rates. This question has already been discussed in our past presentations. Also, we just had a very similar question 2 to 3 slides back regarding the same thing. So we'll be extracting the forward interest rates for year 1, 2, 3 and so on accordingly. So if you can see, the current market price for year 1 maturity is 91,000, though the face value is 1 lakh. So we can say that 1 lakh divided by 1 plus forward rate of 1 year 1 equals to 91,000. So we'll be getting the forward interest rate of year 1 as 9.9%. Same goes with year 2 as well. We can see that the interest which we'll be getting in year 1 and 2 is 10500. So we can simplify it out by 10500 divided by 1.099, which we got as in forward interest rate of year 1, plus we'll be getting the maturity amount of rupees 1 lakh, plus we'll be getting the coupon rate of rupees 10,500 in year 2. So we can say the numerator as 1 lakh 10,500 divided by the forward interest rate of year 1, that is 1.099, plus what we have to compute, we'll have to compute the forward interest rate of year 2. So we'll be taking it as F2 into 1.F2, 1 plus F2 equals to the current market price, and that is 99,000. So we can compute F2 equals to 12.4%. Same goes with year 3 as well. Now we have to compute the forward interest rate. We'll be taking care of forward interest rates which are being presented to us in year 1, year 2, and in order to compute year 3s. So we'll be getting an interest coupon of rupees 11,000 in year 1, 11,000 in year 2, 11,000 in year 3. Apart from that, we'll be getting a maturity amount of rupees 1 lakh in year 3. So we can compute the overall numerators as 11,000, 11,000 and 1 lakh 11,000. And in case of denomination, in the first year, we'll be having a denominator of 1.099 because that was the forward interest rate of 1 year, first year. We can have the denominator for second equation as 1.099 into 1.124 because 12.4 was the forward interest rate of second year, and we'll keep the third one as F3 into 1.F3 equals to whole amount to 99,500, and we'll be getting the forward interest rate of third year as 11.5%. Same goes with the case of one extended level for year 4. Now we'll have to compute the equation in the 4 segments: first year, second year, third year, fourth year. So in first year, the numerator will be the coupon rate, and that is 11.5% in terms of face value. So the total amount will be 11,500 for all the 4 years, plus there will be an maturity amount involved in the fourth year, that is rupees 1 lakh. So the overall cash flows for fourth year would be 1 lakh 11,500. So the numerator will be 1 lakh 11,500. In case of denomination, we'll be first in case of first segment, we'll be having a forward interest rate of 9.9%, so 1.099. In second case, we'll be having 1.099 into 1.124 because that was the second year's forward rate. In case of third segment, we'll be having a denomination of 1.099 into 1.1124 into 115, that was the third year's forward interest rate at 11.5 into 1.F4. F4 is basically the forward interest rate for fourth year. This whole amount will be equals to the current price of fourth year, that will be 99,900. So we can easily compute the F4, that is 12.8%. This is the way we can go for easily computation of forward interest rates. Guys, this question is not at all technical. It's pretty simple. If in case you get the hold of the complete concept as to we'll have to like divide the numerator with which kind of forward rate on which kind of spot trades. So that was the question which was being asked in CA final May 2010, and that was easily solved by many of the people over there. So now let's move on to the next question. This question has been asked in CA final November 2008. The data given below relates to a convertible bond. So this was the data which was being presented in the paper of November 2008. So the face value is rupees 250, coupon rate is 12%, conversion date from today, that is the maturity period 5 years, number of shares per bond. If in case we are able to sell out or exchange our bond in terms of share, so per bond will be 20 shares. We'll be getting 20 shares if we surrender one bond. The market price of one share is rupees 12. Straight value bond is rupees 234.84. The market price of the convertible bond is rupees 265, and prevailing yield of the same tenure, same type of non-convertible bond we'll be having a yield that is 13.75. The next year dividend on equity stock per share would be 0.5%. So now let's find out as to what CA final examiner wants us, what are we supposed to calculate for him or her. So the first one comes conversion ratio. Conversion ratio is simply means number of shares to be issued per bond. So I have just reiterated you back in that slide that if you want to have that kind of conversion, in order to surrender one bond, we'll be getting in terms of that in return 20 shares. Next, what he asks is conversion price. So it is basically at what price face value would be converted to shares. So that would be face value of the bond divided by its conversion ratio. So conversion ratio was 20:1, and the face value of the bond, which we have just had that in our question, that was rupees 250 rupees face value. So we'll be getting an INR of rupees 12.50 as the conversion price. In our third question, they have asked us for conversion or stock value of the bond. Conversion or stock value of the bond simply means the conversion ratio multiplied by the current market price. What is the market price which is going in the market, and what is the conversion ratio? So we can simply say that we did got 20 shares in return of one bond, and the complete sharing cost of the market price of per share today is 12 rupees. So the conversion value of the bond we got in the market is 240 rupees. Though having said that, face value of the bond was 250 rupees. So indeed we can say that we did made a loss of rupees 10, because had it been the case, we would have redeemed our bond basically on a face value itself. We would have received 250 rupees, and while converting this, we did got a loss of rupees 10. So that is the kind of evaluation and analysis we can do while going through these kind of questions. Next comes into the picture about straight value. What is straight value? So guys, before computing the straight value, I would like to actually tell you about what is straight value. Straight value is basically the intrinsic value of a bond at a prevailing market yield, as if no conversion option exists. In the same problem, it has been given that the prevailing yield of similar nature non-convertible bond was 13.75%. I did told you about the same, right? So that is if in case being a 5-year bond, the maturity of the period is 5 years total with conversion option at the end of 5 years, we can find out the price of the bond as if no conversion option exists. In such a case, the bond pricing would be coupon into present value interest rate factor at the yield of 13.75 for a period of 5 years, plus the maturity amount which we would have got, the face value that was 250 rupees into present value interest rate factor of 50 year at the yield of 13.75%, and the amount would be 234.84. So guys, that was the straight value of the bond. Straight value, I would like to reiterate you back, straight value is the intrinsic value of the bond at the prevailing market yield as if no conversion option exists. So now let's move on to the next one. It comes the percentage of the downside risk. What is the percentage that we can have the problem of going downside in terms of our total cash flows? So that would be current price of the convertible, and which is available, which was mentioned in the question. It was INR 265, and that will be like straight value will be deducted from it. So the straight value is 234.84 divided by straight value into 100. So let's suppose if one buys a convertible bond today, the worst case scenario as of today is the price of the share dropping to 0. That is the worst case, like, because once the conversion is being done, the only case is the maximum loss one can bear is the share goes to 0 rupees, let's suppose. And in this scenario, we will be valuing the convertible equivalent to straight value of the bond, because in this case it has been told to us that the straight value of the bond, because the final value of the bond, that the share value won't be going down by this amount. This is 234.84. So in such a case, so whatever is the difference between current market price of convertible and the straight value would be the maximum downside risk that the investor buying the convertible from the market will be having. So in this present case, the maximum risk one would be having is 265 minus 234. So that would amount to 30 pounds something divided by 234. That is the entire straight value of the bond into 100. The complete percentage downside risk in terms of straight value bond would be 12.84. Now let's discuss about the conversion premium. So what is the conversion premium we did have to pay in such a case? So implied conversion price is basically available on the buying of the convertible today was 265 divided by 20, because we were getting 20 shares in respect of one bond. So the convertible price which was available in the market today was 265. So we can simply say that one share would have been of rupees 13.25. This is 1.25 more than the current market price of the equity share, that is 12%. This is actually called the conversion premium, guys. In terms, in a percentage term, if we'll be calculating this thing, we'll be getting 13.25 minus 12 divided by 12 into 100. So basically it can be more likely said that what is the excess which you have paid in terms of conversion. So you did receive something for let's suppose rupees 12. However, for the same thing you have actually paid 13.25. You got the value of rupees 12, but you paid 13.25. So what is that premium which you have paid for that? That is of 1.25. And why would you actually pay a more amount for a value which you are not getting as per its par, or it can be said in a more of a value? And that's a simple cause because you believe that someday tomorrow that share is going to rise, and certainly you will be getting your value in future. So that is the kind of expectation generally an investor usually has in their mind while paying more and a lot of premium. So that is the thing which they keeps in mind. So that is why this Mr. X has actually agreed for paying 1.25 rupees. Now let's move to the next segment, that is conversion parity price of the stock. So guys, what is actually, like in this case, conversion parity price? So for parity, one buys the convertible bond today in the market and converts to share and sells those shares immediately in the market. It is basically that kind of process. In this process, it doesn't make any gain or loss. So guys, in the present case, as we can see, the convertible which is available in the market was at rupees 265. On conversion, we would be getting 20 shares whose market value is 12 into 20. So that amounts to rupees 240. So for parity, basically, I just told you about the same thing. For parity, one buys the convertible today in the market and converts those shares into shares and sells those shares immediately in the market. And in the process, he does make or may not make any kind of gain or loss for that matter. Therefore, after buying the convertible in the market at rupees 265, the market price should have been 265 divided by 20. But instead of 12, so that was being told you in my last question as well. So 13.25 would have been there instead of 12 rupees for parity. Therefore, the conversion parity price equals to market price of the convertible bond divided by the conversion ratio, that amounts to 265 divided by 20, and that will come 13.25%. So guys, that was the basic question which was being asked. Apart from that, there was two other things as well. So what is the premium payback period in this case period? So in this problem, the investor is buying the convertible at a current market price of rupees 265. In other words, he buys the underlying equity shares at an implied price of rupees 13.25 per share, a premium of rupees 1.25 over the prevailing equity share which is available in the market for rupees 12. So now, if the equity shares gives 0.5 dividend per share, we can say that on conversion of 20 shares, his dividend income will be 10 rupees, right? Perfect. The coupon from the underlying bond before conversion per annum was rupees 30. We did discuss about the coupon rate, that was 12% on the face value of rupees 250. The income difference in such a case would be rupees 30 minus 10, because now he won't be getting 30 rupees, instead he'll be getting 10. So rupees 20 will be the income difference, and per share it would come 20 divided by 20, because we will be getting 20 shares in terms of one bond. So that will be 1 rupee per share. Therefore, we can say that if the investor opts for conversion, he would lose this additional income of rupees 20 from bond coupon, which is equivalent to rupees 1 per share. Now, assuming that the dividend on equity shares will be maintained at rupees 1 per share, the premium payback period, ignoring time value of money, will be 1 year. So that is the whole concept which will be revolving around the topic of premium payback period, and that will come to 1 year. So now let's move to the last question of this uh, particular examination question, last part of this examination question, and that was yield sacrifice. So guys, the investor is buying the 5-year convertible at rupees 265. The implied rate of the bond for this price can be calculated by interpolation of the equation, and we will be getting the yield as 10.4% in such a case. Now similar instruments is quoting in the at the yield of 13.75, let's suppose, which is given in this scenario. In other words, we can say if one is buying the convertible at 265 rupees, he is satisfied with the implied yield of 10.4% as against the yield of 13.75 on another instrument of same nature, exactly same nature. So the difference between 13.75 and 10.4 is basically called the yield sacrifice for the investor buying the convertible. The sacrifice is done on a hope that at maturity, the future value of the shares on conversion would be more than the face value of the bond returned to by the issuer. So guys, the entire market is basically functioning on that one principle, which is called premium. They expect that someday they'll be able to get or extract their required or expected returns from the market. So that was the question which was being asked in one of the CA final examination, and that was way too big. This was asked in November 2008 for that matter. Now let's jump on to our last question for the work which has been asked in CA final examination for this presentation. That will be, this question was asked in CA final examination May 2007. Find the current market price of a bond having a face value of rupees 1 lakh, redeemable after 6 years of maturity at a YTM, yield to maturity of 16% payable annually. The duration in this case was 4.3203, and it was given to us that 1.16 to the power 6 is equivalent to 2.4364. So what we can do, we can simply first do one thing. We can just let the interest rate as C, let's suppose, because that is coupon. So we need to find out that coupon first in order to extract the current market price for it. So we had prepared this table for your convenience, and that is 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, and 6 year. 6 year and 6 year we'll be getting 2 of the payment coupon plus the bond maturity value. So we can simply put on the weight for that matter in terms of 16% payable yield. So that will be 0.862, 0.743, 0.641, 0.552, 0.476, 0.410. In the last, we'll be multiplying 1 lakh into 0.410 in order to extract the value after a period of 6 years of the maturity amount. So we got the figures 3.684 C plus 41,000 to the weight of 246 plus 11.319 C. So in such a case, the duration of the bond is 4.3203. What we can simply do is we'll be taking 246,000 plus 11.319 C as numerator, and we'll be dividing it with the denominator, which we just find it out in our last slide. That was 3.684 C plus 41,000. So while calculating this, we can easily extract that the coupon was 15,000 rupees per year. So the coupon rate in terms of valuation would be 15,000 divided by 1 lakh rupees, and the coupon rate would be 15%. So the current price of the debenture will be 15,000 into 3.684, which is the present value interest factor annuity of all the 6 years, plus 41,000, which we'll be receiving at the end. So that will come amount to 96,275. So guys, I'll be concluding this video presentation in which we have already covered ample amount of problems which are being asked in CA final examinations relating to the chapter bond valuation. I believe that you guys have got a complete, holistic kind of conceptual clarity and presentation how to make out in the CA final examination regarding the same things. So during my last presentations, and with the next presentations, we'll be starting out a very interesting and a very important chapter for CA final, and that would be mutual funds. That's way too interesting for that matter. And I'll be concluding this video with a dose of motivation. I can is 100 times more important than IQ. There are people who are too much intelligent, however, they are not willing to go for their 100% shot. Believe me guys, when hard work meets talent, talent is loosened up by the hard work. Hard work is the one thing which beats talent in such a cases. So it is always imperative for you guys to go and fight for your last breath. Make it a sure thing that you need to revise your concepts day in day out in order to ensure that you succeed in CA final examination. And believe me guys, nobody in this world is going to stop you. Nobody. Thank you on behalf of the Edupedia world. Stay connected, keep interacting with me via your questions, your queries, whatever kind of problems you are facing day in day out regarding SFM. Let's make this subject way too interesting so that one can have the reading of these kind of subject even after clearing CA final. One should make it as their favorite subject for that matter. So that will help us in understanding your needs way better. So keep interacting via comments box. Thank you so much guys. Have a wonderful day. Love you all. Take care. Bye.